Hey guys, it's Desiree. Are you surprised? No, because this is my channel. Alright, so today's video is another story time. This one is about some babysitting horror stories. So probably close to the scariest moment of my life, but not exactly there. You don't want cute people in there. I already have Maury and myself, so how much cuter can it get? I used to babysit for like a lot of people. I was constantly babysitting. I had like 5 different families I babysat for. Recently it's like died out. A lot of those kids have like grown up enough where they can stay home alone, or their parents just have like rearranged schedules, whatever. I still babysit quite often. It's just, and frequently it's just more for the same few families now. However, over this time, I have accumulated a few different horror stories from these babysitting experiences. So, today I'm going to tell you 2 or 3 of them. I have 2 lined up, as I said, but if I think of another one, I'll tell it to you guys. So the first one was probably 2 years ago, so I was probably in like 8th or 9th grade. Probably 9th. I think it was 9th grade. I had been babysitting for a family for a good amount of time. I was babysitting there pretty much every weekend. She had a daughter who was like, I think almost a year old or a year old, and then a son who was like 4 or 5 or 6 maybe. So one day I'm there and I have both kids. Usually pretty much I only babysat the daughter. The son often went to work with his dad or with his grandparents, and I would have the daughter. So I'm in the kitchen making them like craft dinner for lunch, and they're in the living room. And the living room and the kitchen are like not far from each other. Like I can hear them. It's like an open concept, not an open concept, but like the doorways like went all the way through. I can hear them if I need to. Like they're close enough, and they're watching TV. So they're essentially fine. They have toys, they have TV. You know, one of them's old enough to call for help. The other one will cry. I can hear them. It's fine. So I'm making the craft dinner, and again, I can't leave the stove unattended, so I would occasionally walk over there, but only for brief moments, and then come back to the kitchen to cook. At one time, the neighbor had stopped by to grab some diapers or something, and the son had run out to say hi. So between that time of him saying hi and probably like 5 minutes later when I went to go tell them that dinner was ready, that's like when disaster struck. So I'm finishing up cooking. I'm like done basically making lunch, so I go out there into the living room to tell them that lunch is ready. And I walk into the living room and immediately I'm like, no, this isn't happening. And there's red ink all over the walls, everywhere, on these like white cupboards, all over the walls. And I'm like, in my head I have no idea what it is, but like I'm like, what the heck is this, and where did they get it, and why is the daughter wiping it on the walls? And I look at this son, who, as I said, is probably like 5 or 6. He wasn't 4. He was like 5 or 6. But he was old enough to know that you shouldn't be doing that. And I looked at him and I was like, what's going on? And he's like, oh no, she painted the walls. And I'm like, yeah, oh no, she painted the walls. Like, why didn't you tell me? And he's like, I was sleeping. And like, obviously he's a kid, like I can't get mad, like I can get mad, but I'm not going to like really like express my anger. But I was like, are you joking? Like, you were just in the kitchen 5 minutes ago, you weren't sleeping. So I'm like annoyed at this point. I'm freaking out because I don't know if this is going to come off. I don't know if the mom's going to be super mad at me because she just got her house newly painted. Like, I'm like, my God, I'm freaking out. And like the kids are supposed to be eating right now, so I'm just like, no, 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 like take the daughter away, take the son away. Like, wipe down the walls. I literally was wiping the walls for so long, but it did come off pretty easy, thankfully, because I was freaking out internally. I got them to sit down and eat lunch, whatever. The rest of the day was fine. Upon the mom getting home, I was really nervous to tell her, even though I had gotten it off the walls. I was like, I don't even want to tell her, like, this was just a disaster all in all. But she was good. She let me, or she didn't care. Not that she didn't care. She just kind of laughed it off and was like, yeah, like he's pretty bad for like not telling the daughter not to do bad things, or like encouraging them, and like, you know, don't worry about it. Like, that's just the type of kids they are, and like, I'm just happy you got it off the walls. And I'm like, thank God, because I was really scared. Story number 2 takes place with a different family. I'm a family I've babysat for a long time. This is actually way more recent. I wouldn't say this is like a horror story, like a scary time, but it was just more of like a situation where I was like genuinely like, I don't know what to do. So I'm there with the family, and like I said, I've babysat for them for a long time. They have a dog. His name is Charlie. They just got him recently. He's really, really cute. But yeah, so, you know, it's all good. And everything was fine, but I brought my little sister to babysit this time. And, like, he's met her before, but, like, briefly and not, like, really, like, fully met her. So, like, he was locked upstairs because he's a really hyper dog. He's a puppy. We get it. It's fine. And she, like, went downstairs and, like, didn't say hi to him or anything. And I said hi to him, and he, like, knows me. It was fine. I go downstairs. The dad leaves. And, like, probably 5 or 10 minutes after the dad leaves, the dog knocks down the baby gate from upstairs and comes barreling down the stairs. And obviously, like, he's, like, barking. He's, like, whatever. Like, he doesn't know who's in his house. And, like, immediately, like, my little sister's like, oh no, like, what is happening? Like, kind of, like, obviously, like, a little bit scared of him, but, like, not, like, fully scared of him. And obviously, we have dogs, but it's just, like, the whole, like, dog coming at you thing. And I'm like, oh no. And he's, like, growling, and she's, like, turning away from him. And I'm like, no, let him sniff you, let him sniff you. But obviously, again, she was scared, so she, like, didn't really, like, she kind of, like, turned away, like, wasn't really letting him, like, sniff her. And he, like, got very, like, he started growling, and I'm like, oh no. And she's, like, covering her face and whatever. And he's, like, on her, but he's a big dog, and I can't get him off of her. He's not listening to me. He's growling. Like, at this point, I'm like, oh my god, someone's going to get bit. And, like, nonetheless, someone did. And then he just, like, growls and bites my little sister's arm. And I'm like, okay. And in my head, I'm like, it's fine. It's fine. Like, it's fine. Whatever. We're just going to put him outside. Like, but, like, she, like, gets up off of, obviously. She's, like, yelling, crying, whatever, gets up. And I'm like, I don't even know what to do, because he's, like, not, like, he bit her once, but he's, like, not done. Like, he's still mad or, like, scared or whatever emotion he was going through. He was still, like, going after her, and I'm like, I literally don't want to get bit either. I don't want any of the other kids to get bit. So I'm just like, just go in the bathroom. Just go in the bathroom, close the door. Like, I don't even care if he's, like, trying to tear the door down. Like, just go in the bathroom. So she goes in the bathroom. I'm, like, trying to contain the dog, who, like, doesn't listen to anything I say. Super hyper and super big, like, just, like, I'm like, oh my god. So I drag him upstairs. Like, I can't get him to go outside. I have no idea what to do. I don't want to call the mom and be like, hi, come home, because I'm like, this really isn't that big of a deal. Like, I don't know, maybe that sounds insensitive to people, but how my family is, how my mom is there's just some things where people would freak out, where we're like, honestly, that's just life, and that's just not that big of a deal. And I knew that was one of these things. Like, this is just something that happens. I know it's not that big of a deal, but in the moment, I was like, I don't know what to do. The kids are all like, they're fine, like, they're like concerned and whatever, but they're just kind of annoyed at the same time, because they're so used to their dog, like, just being annoying and, like, doing things that, like, disrupts them, that they're just kind of like, can, like, we not? And I'm, like, trying really hard to, like, contain him. Not, show him that I'm scared or, like, mad or whatever, because I don't want him to, I want him to calm down. But, like, again, big dog, can't really get him outside. So I call my mom, because my mom was coming back, bringing me Tim Hortons anyway. So I call her back, and I'm like, dude, like, Charlie just bit Lily, and I don't know what to do, because I can't get him outside. And, like, that was my biggest thing, is I didn't want to let her out of the bathroom until he was outside, because I didn't know what he was going to do. And prior to this, actually, a little side note story, like a little side story, the night before, at, like, 9 o'clock, the neighbor had come and, like, banged on the door really loud and yelled at me because the dog was barking. So I didn't want to put him outside this night, because I knew, like, he'd always be barking because he wants to come back in, and I didn't want the neighbor to get upset. Like, I was already so stressed out, but I was like, I don't know what else to do. So I finally get the dog to go outside. My mom shows up. She just takes my little sister home. She's like, it's fine, like, whatever. I'm, like, freaking out internally. It's fine. We moved past it, whatever. My little sister went home. Dog ended up being fine. I was, like, really, like, cautious the rest of the night, because it's like, I'm scared. Not scared of the dog, because, like, I'm very empathetic towards, like, animals, and I know, like, animals aren't born bad. They wouldn't do things because of that. Like, obviously, it has to be, like, how they're raised, or, like, they have to be provoked. And I knew it was one of these situations where there was, like, he was obviously provoked for the fact that, like, she didn't see him, like, she didn't greet him when she came in, so he had no idea who was in his house. He was like locked up and wasn't able to like check who was in his house. Like he was obviously very agitated and is trying to protect his family, and I understand that fully, and I do not blame the dog at all. But again, like I was just very cautious the rest of the night and like a little bit agitated. Whatever, the mom came home, we talked to her about it, she like couldn't believe it, and it was fine. And like my little sister didn't die and she didn't get rabies and she didn't need stitches. She like put a band-aid on it and it was fine. Like she bled, but like nothing like too serious. But like personally, it was a really like scary time for me because I had no idea what to do. So yeah, that was the other story there. Generally, I love babysitting. Like the kids I babysit are all really great and like well behaved or for the most part, but like I don't really have like I never have any issues really where I'm stuck with like not knowing what to do. So that it's just those times that I'm normally like great, like I don't know what to do. So yeah, those are two of my stories. Otherwise, like just like bratty kid stories that you guys probably aren't that interested in. That is everything. Those are all my babysitting stories. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, if you like story times, then like this video. If you have any other ideas for videos, please leave them down below. I appreciate it. I want to make videos that you guys like, which means you guys can share with me what you like. And otherwise, you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week. Peace out.